Hi and welcome back. Today I decided to change a little bit the ambience and record a video out of the comfort of my bedroom because lately I've been spending a lot of time here because I'm 5 months pregnant. So it's one of my peaceful places, one of the places where I rest and hide from children. But other than that, I just wanted to change a little bit the ambience and change the atmosphere and give it a try. But today I want to talk to you about small habits that really did change my life and made me a better person. And I'm hoping it's going to improve your life as well. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, I know it's been said and done 100 times, but writing things down and not digitally, not in your laptop, not in your phone, but actually on a piece of paper is really good for your brain. It's like emptying out ideas, thoughts, worries, everything that you can on a piece of paper. What I do is I make a list, and then at the end of the day, I do my best to either accomplish what I can on the list, reasonably speaking. But I try to kind of move past that page because I find that with digital devices, that list, unless you deliberately delete it, always comes up in your face what you didn't do. What I do is whatever tasks that I feel that are important and I didn't get them done, I just move it to the next list, to the next day. But at least that page is flipped over and forgotten about. So whatever doesn't get done one day, I sometimes even rip the pages. ADHD kicks in. But it's getting moved onto the next page all the time. And writing things down definitely clears up my mind. And in the morning, I do 3 major things, and anything that it's not urgent gets moved to the next day. Prioritize your time much more than anything else you have to do. Our brains are meant to come up with ideas, not store them. So write down everything you can. Another very important thing that I'm really learning, and I'm really doing my best when it comes to everyone in my life, not just my children, is taking a pause before I answer. Whether or not this was just a straight up question, and I don't want to come across as someone who interrupts or someone who thinks they know it all, I always try to take a pause just to kind of regather myself and come up with the best answer. Obviously, it's not in all situations, but most of the time, especially when I'm dealing with clients. When I'm dealing with children, I usually take that second to calm myself down. Not all the time, but it diminishes my reactiveness to their question or to their complaint or to whatever is going on. So learn to take a pause every time you respond. First of all, you're gonna come out that much smarter, that much thoughtful. Another very important habit that I acquired over the years, it's reading during the day. It's definitely going to improve so many things in your life. So I make it a point to have a book by my nightstand, and my latest discovery is Big Magic, which I truly recommend. Fantastic book. So if you're gonna have it by your nightstand, you're going to be that much more inclined to read as opposed to scroll. Even if it's just one page, even if it's just half of the page, one paragraph, if you learn a new idea every day, just give it a thought. That's like 30 new things or 31 things in a month or 7 things in a week. And it really does make a difference when you actually dedicate those 10-15 minutes to just reading. Automate as much as you can and stack your habits. I really learned that from James Clear's book, The Atomic Habits. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. If you're not, you should really give it a try and read it. So Atomic Habits teaches us to stack our habits. For example, if you have a habit of working out, but you don't have a habit of stretching or of meditating, try to incorporate, even if it's just 5 minutes, into that particular routine. So if you know that you are going to stretch or work out at 9 a.m., for example, do that 5 to 7 minutes pause before that and try to meditate. And stacking your habits is going to become that much of a habit for you that you are going to be doing a couple of things at the same time. It's almost like multitasking, but in order. Limit your to-do list to 3 most important tasks of the day. I'm sure not every task is as urgent. There's a difference. Remember the Eisenhower matrix. There's certain tasks that are urgent, but maybe not important, and certain tasks are important, but not urgent. It's the same way. So whenever I make a list and I know that I have anything over 3 tasks and they seem urgent to me, I try to label it and try to think about it. Valentina, maybe they're not as urgent as important, but an important task can wait a day or 2. So don't overwhelm yourself. Try to be reasonable and try to be realistic with how much time you have in a day and how much you can actually accomplish and how much you should be accomplishing in one day. Get some sun on your skin if it's possible. I try to do it because I live in a sunny country and I'm such a blessed person. Every morning I would just put my face into the sun without putting any kind of SPF, any kind of protection. Just let your skin soak in for 5 to 7 minutes. It does wonders. If you are lucky enough to have sunlight, just make sure it goes directly on your face. It's gonna wake you up. Definitely works for me. It's not gonna damage your skin if you're doing it at 8, 9 a.m. Anything between 7 to 9 a.m. I find that the sun in Spain is very forgiving and it's really good for your skin and it's really good for your well-being. You feel like a different person when you expose yourself to sun. Try to maintain your hobbies over your lifespan. I find that most of my hobbies stayed with me over the period of many years. Some of them deviated into a different type of hobby. For example, if I was a big runner and I really enjoyed running when I was in my 20s, now I find that it's not as forgiving and I should really kind of change it. So I start doing brisk walks or treadmill walks because the pavement is much harder, so it's much worse for your knees to actually walk on a pavement, even if it's good to be outside. But if you feel like you cannot stick to the same hobbies, I'm sure you can reshape them and find a different type of hobby that aligns with you, aligns with your health and with where you are today. Another really important habit that I picked up, and I did it a couple of times, I still do it on a weekly basis, at least 1 day a week. I try to track everything that I do minute by minute in my day, at least like 10-15 minutes. I try to track just to see where I'm losing time and what I'm wasting time mostly on. It's such an eye-opener to actually be aware of what you are doing wrong in your day and how you can manage your time better, especially for those who work for themselves, like business owners, small business owners. It's definitely going to improve their planning and how they manage their time on a daily basis. In general, if you feel like you're wasting your time here and there, you probably are. So do it as an experiment. Track your day every 10 to 15 minutes, write down what you're doing, and then reflect on it. Learn to say no and don't feel obligated always to say yes. Again, this is a habit that I picked up just recently, which probably upset a lot of my family members, a lot of my friends, a lot of those who surround me. But it gave me so much peace, so much clarity, so much more time and so much freedom not to be engaged in things that I don't find that align with me, with my time. First and foremost, I am a mother, so my time is very limited, and if you are a mother, you can relate. But generally, even if you're not a parent, learning how to say no and value your time more than being a service of someone else, being less of a people pleaser, definitely made a big change and big shift in my time and in my life in general. And you'll find it that much easier to say no once you do it on a regular basis. Again, it's a very good habit and there is no soft ways to say no. A no is a no, and once people understand that your no is a final word and there is no going around it, they will have that much more respect for you. And they will not ask you with things that they know you are much more likely to say no to. So you will be surprised how you're gonna filter people that surround you by saying no, because people who really wanna keep contact or need your opinion or need your time on something are going to come back and ask for your help or for your time or for anything. So don't be afraid to say no to people, because those who value you will stick around because they understand boundaries. Take care of your information diet. There is junk food for your body, and then there's the same way junk food for your brain. Make sure, even if you are on social media, your feed is very thoroughly curated and you don't waste your time by looking how other people are living their life as opposed to living your own. So definitely make it as a habit. I'm guilty of this as well. My feeds are not 100% curated, although I'm doing it. I'm trying to improve on that. And it's a very new habit for me. That's why I'm including it in this video, but it makes a difference. I look at my partner's feed and his feed is always so much better because men tend to have less patience and his feed is always much more interesting than mine, but I'm really working on it. So I'm making it as a habit. I'll get back to you on how I'm doing on this. Remember people's names. There was a study done that proved that one of the most pleasant sounds to someone's ears is their own name. When you call a person by their name, they are that much more inclined to hear you, to listen, and to pay attention to what you're saying. And one of the tricks to remember, I'm sure everyone knows that, is when someone's introduced to you, you have to repeat the name back to them. And apparently that makes you remember it that much better and actually to stay in your brain, because I'm so bad when it comes to remembering people's names, and I tend to lately write it down right away or make it as a contact in my phone and always make a note as to where I know that person from, because even if I remember the name, I might forget how I'm connected to that person. So yeah, repetition is definitely going to make it that much easier for you to remember. That's another habit. Allow yourself to be bored. We definitely tend to make the most out of every minute of our day because we understand that we are finite and, you know, we're going to die all one day, and we want to make the most and the best out of every day. But sometimes making the best is just by sitting back and letting your brain take a breather and be bored. Some of the best ideas, best inspirations, at least for me personally, was brought on out of boredom when I literally tried to do nothing. And it became a habit. I do it at least once a day. Not even reading, not even doing anything, not writing, just literally trying to stare at a point and give my brain time and space to process acquired information already, whatever I already learned that day. And do those pauses during the day. It's like meditation. If you need to close your eyes, but it's a great habit, and I'm so happy that I'm sticking to it, doing my best to stick to it. Compliment other people, compliment other women. First and foremost, it's going to make the other person feel better, but it's such a hype up because we tend to be so jealous and so judgmental and so concentrated that we don't see much around us. And when you compliment someone you are having lunch with, or a friend or an acquaintance. I was doing a business deal and I was at a notar's office the other day, and I live in Spain and people dress so nicely here. The notar, she was a young woman, I believe she was in her 40s. She was dressed like on top, like everything was on point. Her jewelry, her suit, her shoes, and I was so inspired to compliment her, and I couldn't right away. There was a lot of us in the room, but once the meeting was done, I approached her and I told her how much I admire her sense of style. She blushed, she literally blushed, and that just reminded me of how little we appreciate people that surround us and how we get so much into our head that we don't see who's doing what, and how little we appreciate other people's effort to look good for us, because it's not just for us, for clients, for whoever you're meeting with, but you can tell that this person, this woman, put in so much effort into her appearance. She wanted to appear professional and put together in front of us. So I made sure to let her know about that, and she just, because she was so serious during the meeting, she just had the biggest smile on her face. I mean, made me feel so good, made me feel that I matter, that I actually made someone feel better, because you don't know how their day is going. So if you get a chance to compliment someone, always do it. Other than that, I wasn't going to go over healthy eating habits. This is just healthy personality habits that are really going to improve your life, and little by little, because all of the big habits incorporate little habits. And this is what is going to change your personality and your perception of life, because you know, we all look at the world around us through the spectrum of our eyes, of our own experiences. But when you look a little bit outside of that box and you give a compliment, praise someone, look people into their eyes as opposed to looking into your phone, remember someone's name, serve others, because serving others is definitely a source of happiness, at least for those people who really value their time and their life and what they're doing with it. So if you get a chance to improve your life through these little habits, it's going to make wonders. Other than that, let me know if you like this new, more relaxed approach to videos. I decided that it's time I tap and really embrace my femininity, my true personality, and the fact that you don't always have to be put together to appear on camera and always look super professional with your glasses on, and not everything needs to be by a script, because life doesn't go by script. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. It's becoming more and more of a home for me being on YouTube. I feel very much included, even if I'm a very small channel. But I thank to those who do follow and who are putting in their time to actually watch a video here and there. Please do leave me a comment, and I'll see you next time.